I was halfway through a site inspection at the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Thursdays meant coordinating with veterinary techs, managing volunteer schedules, checking on the 17 animals currently in recovery. But something made me swipe. Mr. Chin? This is Margaret Wu from the County Tax Assessor's office. I'm currently at 4782 Lakeshore Drive conducting a routine property assessment. There are people here. Approximately 9 individuals. They're giving what appears to be a real estate showing. To buyers. My hand tightened around the phone. Cold spread through my chest. That's my property. Yes, I know. That's why I'm calling. Her voice carried that particular blend of professional courtesy and controlled alarm that government officials master. Your brother, at least the man who introduced himself as Derek Chin and claimed to be the owner, just told potential buyers this property has been in the family for generations and he's finally ready to let it go for the right price. He quoted $2.4 million. The rehabilitation center's main office suddenly felt too small. Through the window I could see volunteers preparing food for the injured hawk in enclosure 7. Normal Thursday activities. Except my brother was selling my Lakehouse. I'm 40 minutes away, I said. Don't let anyone leave. I have no authority to detain. Margaret, please, whatever you can do. She paused. When she spoke again her tone had shifted. I'll need to conduct a very thorough assessment. These things take time. Lots of questions about improvements, additions, structural modifications. I'm notoriously meticulous. I was already grabbing my keys. The 40-minute drive felt like falling through ice. That slow-motion sensation where you know what's happening but can't quite process the physics of betrayal. Derek, my younger brother. The one who'd crashed on my couch for a few weeks, that turned into 8 months. The one who'd borrowed $3,200 for car repairs, that I'd never mentioned again because family doesn't keep score. The one who'd stood as best man at my wedding, tears in his eyes, saying I was the brother everyone deserves. That brother was selling my Lakehouse. I'd bought the property 6 years ago, before the area became fashionable, before the tech companies started building corporate retreats nearby, before lakefront meant automatic 7 figures. I'd paid $340,000 for 3 acres with 200 feet of shoreline, a modest 2-bedroom cabin, and a dock that needed rebuilding. I'd rebuilt that dock myself. Spent 2 summers replacing every board, upgrading the pilings, installing proper lighting. I'd renovated the cabin. New roof, expanded kitchen, master bathroom addition, whole house generator. I'd planted native species along the shore for erosion control, working with environmental consultants to get the permits right. The property was now worth $2.4 million apparently, and my brother was selling it. I pulled into the long gravel drive, parking behind a Mercedes SUV with dealer plates. Through the trees I could see people on my deck. Champagne glasses catching afternoon sunlight. Laughter carrying across water. Margaret Wu met me on the path, clipboard in hand, sensible shoes, gray blazer. Mid-50s, sharp eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. She spoke quietly. 9 people total. Your brother Derek, your parents, your sister Lily, Lily's husband Marcus. 4 individuals I believe to be buyers. A couple and what appears to be their real estate agent and attorney. Everyone's been drinking. Your father is giving a tour of the dock right now, explaining the family history of summer gatherings and holiday traditions. We've never had a family gathering here, I said. They've visited exactly twice. Once when I closed, once for a housewarming I threw. Derek complained both times that it was too far from the city. Margaret's expression didn't change, but her pen moved across paper. I see. What have you told them? That I'm conducting a routine reassessment for tax purposes. That I need to verify current ownership, inspect all improvements, document modifications. Your brother seemed nervous when I asked to see the deed. He said it was in transition, and paperwork was being finalized. The buyer's attorney asked some pointed questions. I believe they're beginning to sense something is off, but they're still here. We walked toward the house together, gravel crunching. I could hear my mother's voice now, warm and animated, the voice she used when performing for outsiders. The sunsets here are just spectacular. We've spent so many precious moments on this porch. I stepped onto the deck. Derek saw me first. His face went through a fascinating sequence. confusion, recognition, terror, then a horrible attempt at casual welcome. Hey, brother. What are you? Didn't expect you until, we were just showing my house to buyers, I finished. My voice came out calmer than I felt. Hi Mom. Dad. Lily. Marcus. And you must be the prospective buyers. The couple, mid-40s, well-dressed, looked between Derek and me with growing concern. Their real estate agent, a polished woman in her 30s, checked her phone. The attorney, older, gray-haired, was already frowning. My mother recovered first. He always did. Sweetheart. We were trying to surprise you. Derek's been handling the listing because you've been so busy with your little animal project. My wildlife rehabilitation center, I said, which serves 1,200 animals annually, operates on a $340,000 budget and employs 8 full-time staff. Not a hobby, Mom. And I'm not selling my Lakehouse. Silence. The kind that arrives like weather. Sudden, total, transforming everything. The attorney spoke carefully. I apologize, but I need clarification. Are you the legal owner of this property? Yes. Michael Chin. Purchased March 2019. Sole owner. Title is clear. No co-owners, no mortgages, no encumbrances. Margaret can verify. Margaret Wu stepped forward, professional and devastating. I've pulled the county records. Michael Chin is indeed the sole owner of record for 4782 Lakeshore Drive. Parcel number 47-392-018. Purchased for $340,000. Current assessed value $2.1 million. With recent improvements documented through properly permitted construction including dock replacement, bathroom addition and environmental mitigation work. All taxes paid current, no liens, no transfers pending or in process. The champagne glasses I noticed had all been set down. Derek tried to speak. Failed. Tried again. I thought, we discussed, you said you were thinking about. I've never once mentioned selling, I said. Each word felt like stone placement, building something permanent. Not to you, not to anyone in this family. This is my home. The buyer's attorney was already backing toward the stairs, pulling his clients with him. We'll be leaving. I strongly suggest you contact an attorney, Mr. Derek Chin. Misrepresentation of property ownership is a serious matter. He looked at me. I apologize for the intrusion. We were under the impression this was a legitimate sale. They were gone in under 2 minutes. The Mercedes kicked up gravel dust as it accelerated away. My father spoke next, using his reasonable patriarch voice. Now, son, let's not blow this out of proportion. It was a misunderstanding. Derek was trying to help. You're always saying how much work the property is, how far the drive is, how you barely have time to use it. So you decided to sell it without my knowledge or consent. I looked at each of them. Really looked. Who else knew? Lily wouldn't meet my eyes. Marcus studied his shoes. Mom adjusted her necklace, her tailwind caught. Dad's jaw set in that stubborn way. Everyone knew. How long have you been planning this? I asked Derek directly. It wasn't like that. How long? For months, Lily blurted. Since April. When the Morrison property sold for $2.8 million and Derek realized what this place was worth. For months. Spring through summer. Family dinners where they'd asked about my schedule, my travel plans, my availability. Memorial Day when Derek had wanted to grab keys for a weekend getaway, that I'd declined. 4th of July when Dad had suggested I should think about liquidating assets for better investments. Every conversation had been reconnaissance. Did you forge documents? Asked Derek. For the showing? His silence was answer enough. Margaret Wu's pen never stopped moving. I'll need to note that in my report. Attempted property fraud creates complications for tax assessment purposes. I'll need to file supplementary documentation with the county attorney's office. Wait, Mom said, her society voice cracking into something sharper. This is family business. We don't need government officials. Ma'am, Margaret interrupted with devastating courtesy. When family business involves fraudulent property representation to third parties, it becomes criminal business, which requires documentation. I'd always been the easy one. The one who smoothed things over, who paid for dinners without splitting checks, who helped with down payments and car troubles and didn't ask questions. My phone was in my hand. 3 calls. My attorney, the sheriff's non-emergency line, and my security company. Michael, Dad said, dropping the son, you're overreacting. It's your brother. Your family. We were just exploring options. You were just committing real estate fraud, I said, waiting for my attorney to pick up. With forged documents, false representation, and attempted theft of a $2.4 million asset. While serving champagne. My attorney, Sarah Park, answered on the second ring. I put her on speaker and explained in flat, factual sentences. The showing. The buyers. The 4 months of planning. The forged documentation. Margaret Wu's witness account. Don't let them leave, Sarah said immediately. I'm calling the sheriff's office now. Michael, I need you to stay calm and don't engage further. This is criminal fraud. Real estate fraud in Washington state is a Class C felony. Lily started crying. Not quiet tears, loud gasping sobs. We're family. You'd really do this? Over a house. Over a $2.4 million asset you tried to steal using forged documents, I corrected. Yes, Lily. I'd really do this. Derek found his voice and it came out desperate. I needed the money. The business is failing. I'm $180,000 in debt. Creditors are calling every day. I thought, you have the wildlife center, you're fine, you don't even use this place. So you'd steal it. Borrow against it. We were going to. He collapsed onto a deck chair, head in hands. I'm drowning, Mike. I didn't know what else to do. Something in my chest hardened, calcified. I'd wondered if I'd feel guilt at this moment, pressing charges against family. He said I felt clarity. Cold, clean, absolute. You had 180,000 other options, I said. You could have asked for help. Could have asked for a loan with actual terms. Could have been honest about your situation. Instead, you forged documents and tried to sell my home. While I was working. The sheriff's deputy arrived 12 minutes later. Deputy Carson, mid-30s, professional. Sarah had briefed him. He took statements from everyone. Margaret Wu first, her assessor's documentation providing timeline and witness account. Me. Then Derek, who admitted to creating falsified ownership documents, representing himself as owner, and scheduling the showing with intent to complete sale. I'm placing you under arrest for attempted real estate fraud and criminal impersonation, Deputy Carson told Derek. The handcuffs clicked with a sound like a door closing. Mom screamed. Shirley screamed. Dad started threatening lawsuits, bar complaints, political connections. Lily and Marcus tried to leave quietly, but I stopped them. You knew, I said to Lily. 4 months. You knew and you helped plan. I didn't, Derek needed. She provided the realtor contact, Margaret Wu said, consulting her notes. I heard her mention the agent I recommended during conversation before you arrived. Deputy Carson made more notes. Ma'am, you may want to contact an attorney as well. Conspiracy to commit fraud is prosecutable. They took Derek away in the patrol car. My parents and Lily and Marcus stood on the dock in the late afternoon sun, champagne glasses abandoned, looking at me like I'd become a stranger. Maybe I had. Margaret Wu stayed to complete her assessment. Professional to the end, she measured rooms, photographed improvements, documented everything. For what it's worth, she said as she packed her equipment, I see this more than you'd think. Family members assuming they have rights to property because of blood relation. It's never pretty. But you did the right thing calling authorities. Doesn't feel right yet, I admitted. Give it time. The alternative was letting them steal from you. They wouldn't have stopped with the Lakehouse. People who'll cross one line find the next one easier. She left me her direct number in case you need documentation for legal proceedings, and drove away. I sat on my dock as sunset turned the lake amber and gold. My phone buzzed constantly. Mom crying, Dad demanding I drop charges, Lily sending long texts about family loyalty and forgiveness and how I was destroying everyone over a misunderstanding. I blocked all their numbers. The legal process moved with surprising speed. Derek was charged with attempted grand theft, criminal impersonation and fraud. The forged documents, he'd created an elaborate fake deed transfer with my forged signature. Elevated charges significantly. Sarah Park was efficient and merciless. The premeditation is clear. 4 months of planning. Forged legal documents. Third-party involvement. They're offering a plea deal, probation, restitution, community service. If he pleads guilty to reduced charges. What do you recommend? Take it. You get restitution, he gets a record, and you avoid a trial where your family testifies. It's over faster, cleaner. I took the deal. Derek pleaded guilty. 5 years probation, $25,000 restitution for legal fees and emotional damages, 500 hours community service, and a permanent fraud conviction on his record. Lily faced lesser charges for conspiracy. She took a plea deal, probation, community service, a misdemeanor record. My parents faced no criminal charges, but the family fracture was complete and permanent. They chose Derek's side, claimed I'd overreacted, said I'd destroyed the family over money. I had destroyed nothing. I'd simply stopped letting them steal. 6 months later, I sit on my dock on a cold December evening, bourbon in hand, watching ice form at the lake's edges. The rehabilitation center expanded. We built a new raptor recovery facility with a grant I wrote while Derek was taking his plea deal. We're serving 1,600 animals annually now. We hired 3 more staff members. The Lakehouse is quiet. I spend most weekends here now, actually using the property I fought to keep. I've met neighbors, joined the lake association, started kayaking regularly. Derek's business failed anyway. He filed bankruptcy 2 months after his conviction. Last I heard from mutual friends, he's working retail, living in a studio apartment, still claiming I destroyed his life by pressing charges. My parents send birthday cards. I return them unopened. Lily tried reaching out once, months after her probation ended. A long email about growth and therapy and understanding now why I did what I did. Maybe someday I'll respond. Not today. The lake is freezing over inch by inch, creating that peculiar cracking sound as water becomes solid. Transformation has a sound, turns out. I rebuilt this dock with my own hands. Bought this property with money I earned. Created something that was mine in a family that believed everything I had was theirs to take. They wanted to sell my home while I was saving injured hawks. Instead, they taught me the difference between family and relatives. Family shows up. Relatives show up with buyers and champagne and forged documents. The bourbon is good. The cold air bites clean. Inside, the house is warm and it's mine, legally, actually permanently mine. They thought I wouldn't fight back. Thought I'd forgive because blood matters more than theft. But I did fight. I documented. I prosecuted. And I won. The dock holds firm under my feet, every board I replaced still solid. The house stands behind me, every improvement I made still mine. The lake spreads before me, 200 feet of shoreline that no one can take. They wanted to erase my ownership and claim my success as theirs. Instead, I claimed my right to peace, to boundaries, to a life where people can't steal from me because we share DNA. The ice keeps forming. The lake keeps freezing. And I keep sitting here in the home I kept, drinking bourbon that tastes like freedom. They're gone from my life now. And I've never breathed easier.